So now y'all believe me? I've been literally saying this 5 years. I'm about to break it down for you.
5 years of being ignored and brushed aside built up to this moment. This wasn't just someone venting. It felt like a man finally demanding recognition for everything he believed he deserved. And very quickly, it turned personal.
Y'all try to take money out of my family's mouth. Money out of my family's mouth.
At the center of all that anger was Gucci Mane, and what 6ix9ine believed he discovered changed everything. On April 10th, 2026, the internet exploded after his live stream went viral. After 5 years of being told to stay quiet, he stood up and said, "Now y'all believe me." For years, 6ix9ine carried the snitch label after cooperating and testifying in court, and it stuck with him everywhere, online, in headlines, and in every conversation about him. No matter what he did, that label defined his image and set limits on how the culture viewed him. No matter what 6ix9ine did or said, or how many songs he released, the culture had already made up its mind about him and wasn't changing. But everything shifted on April 10th, 2026, when Gucci Mane, known for a long-standing street code and reputation, dropped Crash Dummy, sending the internet into chaos. When clips of 6ix9ine reacting to the song went viral, they spread across TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook within hours, sparking one of the biggest debates in hip-hop in years about street code, snitching, and how differently those rules are applied, depending on who's involved.
So now y'all believe me? I've been literally saying this 5 years. I'm about to break it down for you.
No matter what 6ix9ine did or said, or how many songs he released, the culture had already made up its mind about him and wasn't changing. But everything shifted on April 10th, 2026, when Gucci Mane, known for a long-standing street code and reputation, dropped Crash Dummy, sending the internet into chaos. When clips of 6ix9ine reacting to the song went viral, they spread across TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook within hours, sparking one of the biggest debates in hip-hop in years about street code, snitching, and how differently those rules are applied, depending on who's involved.
Exhibit A!
That clip from old footage was played on 6ix9ine's live stream like evidence in a case, showing Gucci Mane clearly saying he would never cooperate with anyone, especially law enforcement. It was a strong statement of the code he claimed to live by for years. But 6ix9ine pointed out that things changed by April 2026 after a serious situation unfolded. It reportedly started on January 10th, 2026, during a meeting at a studio in Dallas involving Gucci Mane and his artist Pooh Shiesty, who wanted out of his contract. According to prosecutors, what was supposed to be a business meeting turned into an armed robbery, where documents were forced to be signed and valuables were taken. This incident quickly became a major talking point, with many online calling it one of the biggest examples of hypocrisy in recent hip-hop conversations. No one was allowed to leave until the documents were signed, and the case against them was backed by serious evidence. Investigators pointed to studio footage, phone records, ankle monitor location data, fingerprints, and even social media posts where stolen items were allegedly shown. This wasn't just internet rumors. It was a federal case with both physical and digital proof. On April 1st, 2026, Pooh Shiesty, his father, Big 30, and several others were arrested on federal kidnapping and conspiracy charges, with arrests happening across multiple cities. The scale of the situation was huge, even leading to an official press conference by federal authorities announcing charges against multiple artists at once.
8 of the 9 were arrested yesterday in Dallas, Memphis, and Nashville. These individuals who are charged and arrested include Lontrell Williams Jr., also known as Pooh Shiesty.
Several people involved were denied bond, and Pooh Shiesty remained in federal custody, while Gucci Mane publicly said he was not cooperating with authorities or planning to testify. However, just 9 days after the arrests, Gucci released a song called Crash Dummy, produced by his longtime collaborator Zaytoven, clearly describing the Dallas studio incident without directly naming anyone. In the song, he talked about being set up, called those involved crash dummies, and made it clear that any document signed under pressure didn't legally end contracts. This quickly sparked a huge debate online. His supporters said he wasn't cooperating since he didn't speak to law enforcement, while critics argued that publicly describing an active case in a song was a form of dry snitching. And watching all of this unfold was 6ix9ine, who soon went live and added even more fuel to the situation.
Do you hear your stupid ass? Yo, I'm gonna put you on your commissary.
That moment was 6ix9ine finally letting out years of built-up frustration after being told to stay quiet. On April 10th, 2026, during a massive live stream with Aiden Ross, he stepped back into the spotlight and made sure everyone was watching. To understand how big this moment was, you have to look at his full story. Back in 2018, he was one of the hottest young artists, but everything changed when he got caught in a federal case and chose to cooperate, testifying against others to reduce his sentence. After that, the industry and fans largely turned against him. He was blacklisted, lost opportunities, and was constantly shut down whenever he tried to speak. That live stream wasn't just another rant. It was years of pressure finally coming out all at once. He became the example everyone used when talking about street credibility, the warning story, the joke, the standard others were compared to. But through all those 5 years, 6ix9ine kept asking the same question. What happens when the same situation hits someone else? What if the artists who speak the loudest about the street code end up in a position where that code can't protect them? And what happens when the system comes after someone who already has real respect in the culture?
Yo, what happened? Remember 6ix9ine situation? Y'all remember the 6ix9ine situation? When y'all say, it's the streets, you know what you signed up for?
But what 6ix9ine was doing on that stream, calm but intense like someone who had been thinking about this for years, was turning that same argument back on the people who used it against him. He pulled up old clips of Gucci Mane talking about the street code, played them on stream, and compared them with everything that happened after April 1st, 2026.
Now you're a businessman? How many excuses? How many times? No, it's different.
During the stream, he also made a very direct and controversial claim about race. 6ix9ine said that Gucci Mane was being given more understanding and forgiveness than he ever received, and that this difference comes down to race. According to him, the culture applies its rules unevenly depending on who you are. It was a heavy and uncomfortable point that sparked a second wave of debate across social media almost instantly.
Y'all trying to take money out of my family's mouth. Money out of my family's mouth.
Then the stream shifted into a direction not everyone expected, more technical and detailed. One of the most striking parts of 6ix9ine's rant wasn't about culture or personal frustration, but his explanation of how federal cases actually work.
The justice system does not crime. When I mean the justice system, I mean the Department of Justice, which is United States America versus whatever your last name is, right?
This was someone who had actually stood in a federal courtroom and seen his own case titled United States versus Daniel Hernandez, fully understanding the power and resources the government can bring against one person. During the stream, he broke down how the system works in surprisingly accurate detail, explaining the difference between state and federal charges, what a grand jury subpoena means when it comes from a federal court, and how serious those orders are. He also pointed out that there is no legal protection for a street code in court, and that refusing to follow a judge's order to testify can lead to contempt charges.
Gucci Mane, whether he's telling or his cameraman is telling, right? You know what the feds do?
He was explaining how the system works, because his point wasn't that Gucci is a bad person, but that the problem is bigger than individuals. In his view, the federal government is a powerful system that doesn't care about street codes or the reputation someone has built over years in music. It operates the same way no matter who you are. The stream ended in an unexpected way. After all the arguments, evidence, and explanations, 6ix9ine picked up a piece of paper and read a Bible verse.
Let me read this shit for you. This is God. All who rage against you will surely be ashamed and disgraced.
Whether you find that final moment powerful or ridiculous really depends on your perspective. But either way, once those live stream clips were posted, shared, and reposted across every platform, the impact was immediate. It spread so fast that by April 11th, 2026, it wasn't just hip-hop fans watching anymore. It had gone mainstream, reaching people who barely follow the culture at all. The internet was flooded with opinions because there was no clear answer to what it all meant. One of the first strong reactions came from Freddie Gibbs, who posted on Instagram saying the situation felt so unbelievable it might as well be AI-generated, joking that it was crazy for a major artist to release a track about a federal case. His comments quickly went viral, and even the rare agreement between different voices in hip-hop showed just how unusual and controversial the moment had become. Academic commentators looked at the situation from a different angle, but many reached a similar conclusion, especially around the idea of double standards. Academics argued on stream that hip-hop culture owed Tekashi 6ix9ine an apology, saying he was completely blackballed after cooperating with the government in 2018 and never given a chance to recover. He also pointed out that 6ix9ine had already been a victim of a documented kidnapping before he testified, something he felt people often ignored when judging him. On the other side, Wack 100 disagreed, saying Gucci Mane's situation was different because the incident was already recorded and known to authorities, and that making a song about your own experience is not the same as actively working with prosecutors. That disagreement opened up a bigger debate about whether there's really a moral or legal difference between cooperating with law enforcement and publicly telling a story about a real federal case in music. There is no simple answer to this situation, and that lack of clarity is part of why the debate kept growing. Waka Flocka Flame added a new perspective that shifted the conversation in a different direction after his comments went viral. He shared a personal story from his time working with Gucci Mane, where he recalled being introduced to someone on Gucci's security team.